So this is the Toyota GR Corolla Circuit Edition, and this is a fun car. 300 horsepower from a turbocharged single turbo 3-cylinder. The G16E GTS 3-cylinder, the same engine that Toyota put in the Yaris, the GR Yaris, overseas, a car we do not get here in the United States. Instead, they brought a GR Corolla. I mean, this is a country, after all, where everybody wants big SUVs and crossovers and things like that, and the GR Yaris is kind of tiny. It's a micro car. Fast one, but it's small. The Corolla, a good seller here in the United States, worthy of the GR attention that has been given to it. And I will tell you guys, after driving this thing for a week, it reminds me a lot of the Mark 6 Golf R. That car had 265 horsepower, all-wheel drive, manual transmission, and was just fun. There was a fun factor to that car. The Mark 7 also has that fun factor. The Mark 8 is removed a little bit. But this thing is just smile-inducing. It's a grin bringer. Is it the fastest little hot hatch on the market? No. 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, according to Toyota. So this engine is 300 horsepower, but 273 pound-feet of torque. That comes on at $3,000. Peak torque is from 3,000 to 5,500 RPM. So I'm at 2,500 right now. Downshift. Now I'm at 3. Now I'm at 4th. 3,500. When it's on boost, oh, this thing is fun. There's no other way to say it. Oof. Good brakes. My goodness, these brakes feel good. But you know what sucks? The pedal spacing is a little far apart for heel toe. So, that's a little frustrating. The steering, it's electric power steering, but it feels really good. I mean, it's good. The shifts, they're a little long, but they're pretty precise. It's not what I would say rifle bolt action, but it's definitely put it where you want it and it goes there. So because you can't heel and toe too well unless you've got a really, really wide foot, I've actually got snow boots on today and I still am having trouble heel and toe. So Toyota put in the IMT, there's a little button here to the left of the steering wheel, intelligent manual transmission. It does rev matching for you. Takes away some of that joy of being able to blip that throttle. It does a good job. It's more fun when you can do it yourself. I think the GR Corolla looks fantastic. And Toyota engineers, Gazoo Racing engineers, have done a lot to really make this chassis do what it's doing. They've lightened things. There's an aluminum hood. Steel doors still. On the Circuit Edition, I get a forged carbon roof to reduce weight and lower that center of gravity just a little bit. I've heard people say that the build quality inside these materials aren't great. This is actually soft touch. I mean, you can push your fingers in here. On the back door, it's not. The back doors, it's hard plastic. But up front, it's fine. And this dash is nice. I don't think this is bad at all for a low $40,000 vehicle. You're talking about $43,000 for a Circuit Edition. And everything's standard. You can just pick a different color. 5.3 inches of ground clearance on the Core and Circuit Edition GR Corolla. 5.1 inches of ground clearance in the Morizo Edition. So there are 3 different versions of the GR Corolla. There's the Core. Same engine, same transmission, same suspension, but you have some different things such as the seats. The wing spoiler coming off the back is a little bit different. You don't get the functional hood vents in the Core Edition. You also don't get as standard the 2-axle limited slip differential, electronically controlled limited slip differential, though you can get it as an option on the Core. You don't get heated seats or heated steering wheel on the Core, but you can get that in the cold weather package. The Circuit has those things as standard, plus this forged carbon roof, bigger wing in the back, painted brake calipers. The Core has black with silver trim on the inside. The Circuit Edition has black with red trim on the inside, like this little red stitching and all this cool stuff you see here. Plus, that LSD is standard on the Circuit Edition. And in my opinion, I don't think you want this car without that. That gives you this awesome little GR4 thing down here, selector, so that's your all-wheel drive. And you can switch it from front to rear to track. If you're in front, it's pushing 60% of your power to the front, 40% to the rear. If you're in rear, which I'm switching now, 30% to the front, 70% to the rear. If you go into track, it's 50-50 split. But this suspension is fixed. Now, there are drive modes, okay? So there's a little thing down here that says drive mode. You can go eco, normal, sport, or custom. So really, this is a car that comes out of the box with a suspension that can soak up really crappy roads and still keep you just hugging the road, glued to the road, even in really cold weather on summer tires. Just all kinds of grip. You can feel this chassis, the strengthening they did, all of that extra adhesive and the stabilizing bars, extra welding points, and all of the things that Toyota Gazoo Racing did to this Corolla chassis to turn it into this thing paid off in spades. This cabin is just laid out very simplistically. There's automatic climate control, but not dual zone. And you actually have buttons for your HVAC, which is awesome. Toyota has a North American developed audio multimedia interface here. This is an 8-inch touchscreen, and it's quicker than a lot of the other Toyota products that I've been in the last couple years. It works really well. It's really simple. You can have wireless Apple CarPlay, all those sorts of things in here, and this works really nice. The Core gets a sort of bass stereo, and then in the Circuit you get a JBL system with 8 speakers and an 800-watt amp. Also, on the GR Corolla, you have radar cruise control, lane keep assist, all those sorts of things, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic, even pedestrian detection with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. All of that's great. It's all well and good. But the whole point of this car is to have fun. I mean, this is a rally-inspired car. And that 3-cylinder actually sounds cool. It's an odd cylinder count, obviously, but it sounds really cool. And the fact that Toyota GR put in a triple exhaust, 1 exhaust per cylinder, and it's 4 valves per cylinder also. So you've got a 3-cylinder engine, 4 valves per cylinder, it's 12 valves in the engine. And the cool part about the GR Corolla and this little 3-cylinder and its triple exhaust is there's no augmented engine noise. There's nothing fake being piped into the cabin. It's just the actual sound of this engine, which I'm grateful for because it sounds cool. There is another car produced today that has an odd cylinder count. That's not a 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16 cylinder car. It doesn't have 3. It has 5. Wonder if we could head back to our super secret testing facility for a pairing up of the odd couple. This is the Audi TT RS. 5 cylinders and 3 doors. TT RS, 400 horsepower, quattro all-wheel drive, double clutch, 7-speed gearbox, versus our 3 cylinders with 300 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and a manual.
2, 1, go.
Oh my gosh.
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, we didn't stand a chance. With our little shifter down here, not the manual shifter, I'm talking about the torque splitter, the GR4 button. Front, 60-40 split. 60% of the torque to the front, 40 to the rear. Rear, 30% to the front, 70% to the rear. I'm going to do that and see if it makes a difference. All right, here we go. Ah, 53 miles an hour, you got to shift to third. Oi. Gonna go to push that down, track. GR4 track, 50-50 split. All right, engine same, brakes same, manual transmission the same. All right, here we go. It's a stronger pull off the line. So track definitely feels a little better getting off the line. No question. Second gear, I touched 60 that time at red line, second gear. As I mentioned, this is like a rally-inspired car. And it would be kind of neat to put this up against something else that's rally-inspired. I think we're going to head to our super secret testing facility and see what I can pull out.
Okay, we are on too high.
Safety first, Paul.
Safety first. What do you mean?
I got to put my seatbelt on.
Yeah. Seatbelts are overrated.
Seatbelt, schmeatbelt.
Rally truck versus rally car. So we are in sport. GR4 is set to front, so I've got 60% of the power going to the front, 40% to the rear. We're going to see how that does on a launch. I'm assuming I'll be a little faster with either rear or track, but we shall see.
3, 2, 1, go! Equal launch. Oh, wow. Wow, that thing is moving. Holy cow. No way she's pulling on us. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Wow. That thing's quick.
That thing is quick. She missed a shift too.
And she had to shift. Yeah. You know, the only time we were really gaining on her is when we...
That wasn't bad.
When we had to shift. You did amazing. Holy cow.
Okay, so 6.55 seconds to 60 with the GR4 set to front. I'm gonna switch it to rear. So now we have 70% of our power going to the rear, 30% to the front, still in sport, so the throttle response should be the fastest we can get.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Now she bogged a little. You got a little jump on her. Oh, you might.
Oh my God, that thing is at the very end. It's unreal. It's unreal.
Holy cow.
Whew.
Dude, we had her for like, until about, what, maybe 200 feet short of the quarter mile?
Yep, exactly. Okay, now I gotta put it in. That was on 4 high.
That wasn't 4 high.
Let's put on 2 high.
That's what we did the first time.
Let's do one more because I'm gonna do track now. This is 50-50. My first one was front, that was rear, and I'm gonna do track.
All right.
All right, so this is track.
Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! Uh-oh, that is not going well. She's already in front, and we know what happens about there. Holy cow, she's pulling.
Come on, baby. 105.
How are the brakes, by the way?
Brakes are good. I'm not. I don't want 4 because it's wet.
Let's see what we got. 0 to 60. That time was 5.71. So our fastest 0 to 60 was in track.
14.61, you did your best right there.
Okay, now we'll try 4 auto, I guess.
I think what this proves is that the Raptor is not the best drag race mobile.
I think you got a point there, Brendan.
We're gonna stay in GR4 set to track, 50-50. I moved over a little bit, so now I'm on drier pavement. There's a little bit of dampness where I've been launching from. So I'm hoping that maybe this will help me get off the line just a little bit quicker.
So we're gonna get screwed even more, is that what you're trying to say?
All right.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, you got a little jump on the launch. Come on, Paul, you can do it.
Come on, Raptor! Let's go! Come on!
Come on, baby!
No! Oh, every time. Every time.
All right, so my top speed was only like 94 on that one, 96, and then on the 2 high it was 99. So
Interesting.
Still beat him to the quarter mile, definitely not to 60.
Well, you did get your best quarter mile time though.
oh really?
14.6.
Okay.
Yeah.
14.1, shitty launch.
All right. Now I got Brendan out of the car, so we're gonna be hopefully a little bit quicker. We got it in 4 auto because we did a couple tests, and that is giving us the best quarter mile time. So we're gonna leave it in. Traction control is on, and we are ready to go. Okay.
Oh, I bogged it! I bogged it! No way! Son of a biscuit! I bogged it!
I didn't like that launch.
He's got me! He's got me! He's got me! Ah! It totally bogged the launch! I suck!
Yeah. Brendan needs to learn how to do a launch with his hand signals.
That's right, we're gonna do it again.
One is arms down, 2 is arms to the side.
No.
Yes.
No. No. You've never seen this done? It's 1, 2, go. As soon as-
No.
Yes.
No, it's 1, 2, 3, go. Believe me, trust me. When you come down, you don't go straight. You just come down all the way.
All right, fine.
Come on, come on!
All right, way better launch. He's still on me though. We got him. We got him at the quarter.
Holy shit!
Bye, baby! Boom! 13.89 quarter. That was a great launch.
Man, I thought I had you, and then you just came out of nowhere. So Brendan accounts for 0.3 of a second.
Fat ass. So there you have it. The GR Corolla can beat a Bronco Raptor in the quarter mile, 0 to 60 and quarter mile. It's close. That Bronco Raptor is an amazing, amazing vehicle. But the weight disadvantage, even for the 100 plus horsepower that the Raptor has over the Corolla, what are you going to do? 3,200 pounds versus a behemoth. And the TT RS, 400 horsepower versus 300, still all-wheel drive, about the same weight. But that double clutch transmission, you don't have to at all. That thing's a rocket ship. But this really held its own, this little GR Corolla. I am really impressed with this thing. I'm really impressed. We are in the Ford Bronco Raptor, the king of the off-road beasts, according to Ford. This thing is pretty incredible. I've had it for the better part of a week and have absolutely fallen in love. According to Ford, this is a quote, "The Bronco Raptor is built for desert running and rock crawling." Well, as you can see from this video, we are not necessarily out in a desert. We are in the cold. So, the Bronco Raptor is a fully boxed, high-strength steel frame. New shock towers for increased wheel travel, and we're talking a lot of wheel travel here, people. 13 inches in the front, 14 inches in the rear of wheel travel. The B and C pillars have been reinforced. There's cross bracing reinforced for a over 50% increase in torsional rigidity. Twisting, torquing. This thing can do it. Ford Performance helped develop the axles. There's larger front and rear drive shafts that provide increased torque to the wheel. An upgraded transfer case. Ford Performance worked with Fox Shocks on the High Performance Off-Road Stability System, or HOSS, H-O-S-S, and it's got live valve technology. The suspension has monitors all around the vehicle that look at the terrain hundreds of times per second to help figure out the best way to adapt this monster suspension to the road or non-road that you might be traveling upon. The question here is, there's a million videos of this thing out there already. We got this kind of late in the game, and we know that. So you've seen this Bronco Raptor driving at 70 miles an hour in some desert. You've seen it jump. But the real question is, can you have a Bronco Raptor for like all the time? You know, the Bronco is cool. The Bronco Raptor, cooler. Period. End of that discussion. It actually has surprised me how well this thing behaves on the road. Its on-road manners are good. And you've got supremely adjustable vehicle here with 7 different drive modes through the GOAT shifter down here that stands for goes over any type of terrain. It should say goes over all terrain, because it does.
They have done some really cool stuff in the steering wheel because all of those modes that we were talking about. So this has the go over any terrain system, like every other Bronco does, but it also has a Baja mode, which is unique to the Bronco Raptor, I believe. But besides this dial down here that does that, and it has push button 4 high, 4 low, 4 auto, or 2 low, or 2 high, I should say, which is what we're in now on the highway. You also have the modes selectors on the steering wheel for your steering feel.
Yeah, you could do normal, comfort, and sport.
Yes, you can. You also have the exhaust, which you can do in starting in quiet. I wish they had quiet for the wind noise. Quiet, and then you can go to normal, sport, and then Baja, which says it's for off-road.
Off-road use only. Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't pass cap. In fact, I just put it in Baja.
And it got a lot louder.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
It may not be legal in California. And then you have your shock settings, which is normal, sport, and then off-road, which is definitely the Baja style where you're just getting a little bouncier.
Correct.
But all of that stuff is available. You can change all that stuff, or you just double tap the R and it goes into my mode settings essentially, and that is whatever you set it to. So you can set that up however you want it, save it, and then just come right back to it with the press of a button.
Yep. I will say, one of the downsides to the Bronco Raptor is it doesn't sound that great. There's a 3-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 under the hood, and it provides 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty good, but you're moving 5,700 plus pounds of vehicle. This is like almost a 3-ton vehicle. So it doesn't sound awesome. No matter what mode you're in, it just doesn't sound that great. I'm going to put it back in quiet here. And there's not that big a difference in the different modes, honestly.
So Paul, with all that drag strip driving and it's 5,700 plus pound curb weight.
Yes, 5,764 pounds.
And it's 418 horsepower.
And with the two of us in it, it's definitely hitting the 3-ton mark.
Yeah, what do you think I'm getting for fuel economy?
It can't be good.
Yes, you are correct. It cannot be good, and it is not good. We're averaging right now 10.6 miles per gallon. But I can tell you that when I wasn't driving it down a runway at full speed, I was getting 11.5 miles per gallon. So not much better. Actually, that speaks to the fact that it's actually pretty good at full throttle.
Yeah.
It gets great mileage going full throttle. It does not get great mileage just driving normally. So a little bit of a trade-off there.
Definitely.
I will tell you that for almost 6,000 pounds, it brakes really well. I'm super impressed.
Yes, the brakes are very nice.
This is a Ford thing, though, because I'm super impressed with the way the Mustangs brake. I'm super impressed with the way the Ford Focus RS brakes were. And this thing is just, it grabs and it pulls it really hard down. So
yeah.
You wouldn't expect it to stop that quickly for being
this heavy, correct. But no, it did very good brakes, for sure.
Yes. And I got to say something about this Sync 4 screen, because we have been in a lot of vehicles. Mm-hmm. We drive a lot of vehicles. We experience a lot of infotainment screens and HVAC setups. This gets pretty close to, I think, perfection, where you've got an awesome, nice size, but not ginormous screen. And it's got, 2 sections. It's got like kind of 75% on the left side, which is whatever you're looking at on either your CarPlay or your map. But then it has about 25% of the real estate on the right.
Which is always on, which is just perfect, because you can always see your radio station, the song that is playing, all that kind of stuff. It's always on there. You don't have to scroll through different screens to get that kind of information. It's all set forth on one screen, which is just, it's common sense.
I know, this is perfectly set up, and unlike the combo screen that you get in CarPlay, which doesn't really tell you a lot of information because it's compacting everything, you could just see everything in full screen. So I've got Waze on, and that's full screen, and then I can see my music on the side screen. So that's perfect. And then you have analog controls for your volume, your tune,
which we always appreciate, because it's just intuitive. It just makes sense. It works. You want to turn up and down the volume, dial. A hotter temperature, a colder temperature, dial.
Yep, and
You know?
hard buttons for your heated seats.
Yep, you're not scrolling through menus and trying to find things that you might not know exactly where they are.
And now my biggest pet peeve, which this car does very well, which all cars should do, pay attention, especially you, Volvo, one button to get to the front camera. And just a camera button right there next to the auto start stop. Unfortunately, This does have auto start stop, but you can one button to the front camera and boom, I can see what I'm pulling into. And it does 360, so you can see how to square yourself into space.
In this vehicle, you need that because it's so big.
This is not the easiest vehicle to park, I can attest.
Yeah.
And this is also, like everything else in the Bronco Raptor, supremely adjustable. You can change the different views here to all sorts of stuff. And then you get the My Settings thing, and you can put your favorite types of screens, like tire pressure, pitch and roll, the Raptor status screen, which shows what all the different things are in. Right now, my suspension's normal, traction control's normal, steering wheel's normal, suspension's normal, exhaust is quiet, and towing is off. You can do all these different things. You can actually change the screen here. So normally there's a tack on the left for your 10-speed automatic gearbox, and the speedometer on the right with a bunch of information in the middle. And then you can also switch that to a performance view, which then gives you a tack in the middle and sort of a different graphic on each side that you can kind of customize as well. There's so many different things you can do here, and it's Ford's Sync 4, which in the time that I've had this thing has worked flawlessly. You can get a Bang & Olufsen sound system. In here, you can get this little thing up front where you can actually flip it up and plug in USBs and things like that. But inside you get some code orange stuff. You get a little code orange 12 o'clock marker here, stitching. The center of the vents is code orange. The goat knob is code orange. There's code orange in these seats. Stitching is code orange, so on and so forth. And they really tried to make it a little bit sportier, I guess, on the inside. I have been absolutely astounded at the overall well-rounded performance of this Bronco Raptor. This thing is something magical. It's not very often that you get a press vehicle, or that I get a press vehicle, that I kind of want to go buy. And I want one of these. I really do. From everything. It looks better than a regular Bronco. It's taller, it's wider, it's more beefy, I guess. It looks tough. It looks the part. And it backs it up. That's the most important thing. Everything that Ford says this vehicle can do, it can do. From the 7 different GOAT modes you have, which sort of take care of all the different settings that you'd want by itself, you've got, let's go through them, slippery, tow haul, and an increased towing capacity with the Bronco Raptor up to 4,500 pounds. Then you've got sport, normal, off-road, which now it's locked the center or the rear differential for me, and it's shifting a lot differently. And then you've got Baja, which is like the loosest suspension you can get, and it's hilarious because you can just get on the throttle and off the throttle and on the throttle and off the throttle, and it like rocks you back and forth.
Sport steering does kind of make it a little bit more effort. I would definitely say that all the modes actually do something, but normal lightens it up a little bit. And just in normal mode, everything normal, this thing actually is pretty compliant on the road. You wouldn't think so with its giant tires and the big size. It's actually pretty easy to drive.
Yes, it's very well balanced. It's got great road manners. For especially something weighing this much, it actually drives really well.
It does, which is such a nice, unexpected thing. The Ram TRX and even the Ford Tremor big truck, both of those big trucks, and then you get in them and you're like, this is going to be hard to drive or just uncomfortable to drive but it's not.
No.
So kudos to Ford for putting together a package that you wouldn't even know you really, once you get in it, you kind of forget how big it is.
Yes, it definitely drives smaller than what it is.
Yep. And it's got pretty good performance all the way around. I mean, not just in the straight line, but it works well even when you got to move side to side.
Correct.
It handles its weight, its considerable weight, very well. Like Miss Piggy. I didn't even get him. He's still laughing.
Idiot.
It's definitely a work truck. I mean, this is not a luxurious interior in here. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, in fact, I kind of prefer this for a truck with these capabilities. If you're going to go off-roading, do you really want... I drove a Range Rover a few years ago, and I was amazed by what that vehicle is capable of off-road, but I felt like I was driving my house through, you know, creeks and over rocks, and it was just a weird sensation, a weird feeling. I'd rather have something that's a little more utilitarian and work truckish. So I think this thing is amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. If you can get one, if you like doing off-road stuff, whether it's in the snow or it's in the desert or you do rock crawling, a little Jeep Jamboree sort of thing, anything like that.
So, Brendan, in conclusion,
this is a vehicle for people who know what they want, and they want something that can go anywhere, could do some Baja off-road racing,
definitely,
and they don't mind the trade-offs.
It's for a very specific buyer. This is a niche product.
Yes, and you have to be willing to spend a lot of money to get something that can do everything, but will still sound like you're in a wind tunnel. When you're going,
some drawbacks to it, of course,
a
but
few. And you better have not only money to buy, but money to fill the gas tank.
Yes,
but you will have a ton of fun.
You will enjoy every minute behind the wheel.
Yes.
I love this thing.